What's up, guys, and welcome to Small Time World. I am your host, Small Time Hero. Let's talk Invincible, Season 4, Episode 6. You Look Horrible. All right, so Thaddeus gives a speech to the coalition to basically get the coalition on, ready to go to war. Thrag, on the other side, is giving the Viltrumites a similar speech, getting them ready to go to war. While I also don't think that you have to hype Viltrumites up for war, the coalition actually ships out, and we see the Viltrumite ship out, and we actually see the war begin. So now we are in thralls of war. Anessa leads the Viltrumites, and she ends up punching through a coalition ship. Thrag monologues to the skull of Argal, and we actually find out what's going on with Nolan and Oliver. So Nolan basically builds like a tomb for conquest, and Oliver has a really big issue with this because he's basically like, hey, look, this is not okay. We should not be honoring him in death because at the end of the day, he's killed more people than you have. People on Earth hate him just as much as they hate you. And also, he's tried to kill Mark twice. And Oliver says he's fought him, but he's almost killed Oliver at least 3 or 4 times at this point. So, yes, like, I don't think Conquest should get, honored as a Viltrumite or anything like that. Because, I mean, even the Viltrumites didn't really fuck with him like that. So, yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily show affection to each other anyway, so that's a mute point. But at the same time, like, no, I agree with Oliver. Conquest does not deserve to be honored in any kind of way. But Nolan says that it's just his people and it's the way he's lived his life for a very long time. And I will say, while I don't feel like you can forgive Nolan, I will say that he is a Piltrum of habit. He's lived this way, and it was like impounded in him a long time ago. We saw with everything that happened with the Scourge virus. So I just feel like you're trying to change a very old stone, and like as some of us know, like with our parents, it's just hard to change that. So yeah, I do feel like at least Nolan is trying. We also actually see the Scourge virus being perfected because it's being planned to be used. So we do actually see that. Nolan says that it might take Mark months to recover. And Oliver is like, months? Like, what the hell? Like, we gonna be stuck on this fucking planet for months. But, I mean, Mark had his guts pulled out of his body. So, yeah, it's gonna take him a while to recover. Oliver says that it's not, the months or whatever. It's just, it's never been this bad. Mark has come back from a lot of things, but it's never been this bad. And honestly, Oliver was there for Mark's harder fights, I will say, so he does kind of have a perspective on this. With Crad and Lucian, they are rerouted to Glaxia Prime, and they are basically getting ready to go to war. General Crag told them to come, and the mole has basically told them that they'll be able, like, where to find the coalition. Tech Jacket and Alan are also listening in on the Viltrumite conversation, and Alan tells Tech Jacket, hey, if they're going to Galaxia Prime and the coalition is there, this is our chance to actually try and make it, like bucket for the ship and, hold our asses and try and make it. So with Nolan and Oliver, Nolan fights a trimmer looking thing. That's the only thing I can kind of relate it to. It's like a bug looking situation, but it swallows him and Nolan blasts through its stomach, basically taking it and making it food. And I thought that was kind of funny, like just to show, like, I don't know, it was something that Superman would do, so I thought it was like funny to see. Nolan roasts that same bug that he blasts through, and Oliver feeds Mark slug juice, it looks like. I don't know, he's squeezing it out of something, so I'm gonna call it slug juice. Nolan offers Oliver some food, but he won't take it, of course. He's like, I'm not eating that, it looks disgusting, and it does. I'm not mad at Oliver, it does look disgusting. So the next morning, Nolan and Oliver wake up, and Nolan is basically like, hey, look, we got some time on our hands, we should train. And Oliver's like, I don't need to train with you, I can already fight, I'm a good fighter. And Nolan's like, okay, well, let me see. And they start sparring, and of course, Oliver doesn't land a fucking blow at all. But, after everything is said and done, he takes a cheap shot and he pushes his dad. And then we actually find out what was going on with Oliver in the previous episode. Like, we thought it was because Nolan didn't come and see him, but then we find out that actually it's because he heard Nolan say that he did not care about Andressa, or that Andressa meant nothing to him. And honestly, for any kid, bug kid, regular human kid, whatever, that's gonna hurt. That is going to hurt. And like, he's like, Nolan kind of laid it on thick. And Oliver leaves. Like, he's like, I don't even want to hear that shit. I'm gone. You said what you said. On the Viltrumite ship, Alan and Zoe stop playing their video game, and they decide that they're gonna make a run for the coalition ship. But Lucian and Crad are on their ass. They see them as soon as they come out of hiding. Alan is able to like take Zoe because her thrusters aren't moving fast enough. Like, the Viltrumites move at the speed of sound. They fly at the speed of sound. And clearly Zoe's tech isn't powerful enough to evade the Viltrumite. So Alan takes Zoe and he basically throws her at the fucking coalition, which I thought was like the ultimate Hail Mary pass, but it was like kind of cool too. And so when he throws Zoe, like, he starts fighting Lucian and Crad. And of course, it's 2-on-1. But Alan is able to kind of hold his own. I mean, like, he does get beat up a bit, but at the same time, he holds his own against 2 Viltrumites. So I think that's saying a lot for Alan, honestly. Like, he's come a long way. So once they start, basically whooping Alan's ass, Zoe comes back and Alan's like, Zoe, no. But Zoe does not come back empty handed. She's like, hey, it's funny that you talking shit because you finna get shot in the face. And we see Space Racer and he is playing no games. This gun is like all action, no fucking load. Like, it's just straight up, just boom. And he pulls the trigger and blows a fucking hole through Crab. And when I say a fucking hole, there is a chunk of his stomach looked like a crescent moon. Like, that shit blew his ass away. And Lucian, this shit was so funny because Lucian hit that motherfucker. He was like, Red Daddy, when Debo was like, you want some, punk? And Red Daddy was like,
oh, you want something too, old man? Huh? No. Get off your ass and get in this car. Boy, I don't know why you got.
No. That's kind of how Lucian had that shit. Like, he was like, I ain't fucking with you. So that was like a really, really funny part. Space Racer is voiced by Winston Duke, by the way. I just wanted to put that out there. But Space Racer does remind them after Lucian turns around and they kill Crad that they do have other work to do. So they head down to the surface to help the coalition. With Nolan and Oliver, Nolan brings home a huge bug to eat, and Oliver actually likes this. And Nolan tries to kind of relate to Oliver and like talk to him about his mom because clearly that's a point of contention for him. And Oliver is like, fuck no. Like, it's so funny because you can kind of see the maturity in Oliver where he's like, yeah, no, not going for it. Fuck you. Don't even bring that shit up. And, that's kind of the end of it till the next morning. So the next morning, Oliver basically wakes up to Mark not getting well. Nolan says that what they're feeding him, the slug juice shit, is not actually enough protein for his body to repair itself. And so we actually see his gut still hanging out. And so they go to find something with more protein in it. Nolan finds a egg cluster of some sort. And we find out that, of course, there's a mother somewhere. So Nolan is trying to take the eggs and the mother attacks, of course. And Oliver actually jumps in because before he was just watching his daddy fight. So Oliver jumps in and they both kind of like subdue the bug. But Oliver makes a very good point to Nolan. He's like, if we kill this bug, because Nolan is like, let's end it here. And Oliver's like, if we kill this bug, then she can't produce any more eggs for us, which is basically, supply and demand. Don't kill the thing that brings you food. But yeah, so Nolan's like, you're right. And so they decide not to kill the bug, but they do, steal the eggs, and they kind of run it off each time they need the eggs. On Telescaria, Alan and General Telia actually reunite. I thought he was going to be way more upset about like what happened when she left his ass, but he wasn't. So if Alan's not upset, then I won't be upset because I was like, what the fuck? She just left their ass. But if he's not upset, I'm not upset. So there you go. When they do hug, Zoe actually jumps into their hug, which I thought was really, really funny because it's just payback to Alan when he jumped into Zoe and her father's hug. So we actually do see that happening, which is it was really cute, I thought. When they walk into the, I guess you can call it the headquarters, Data Twin 2, which is voiced by Fred Tatascore, maybe. If y'all know how to pronounce it, let me know in the comments. But he basically seems very surprised that Alan survived, but I don't think he's talking about Alan surviving from the Viltrumite ship to the coalition. He's actually talking about the ambush. Like, he thought he would die in the ambush. So I feel like that was Data Twin 2 actually tipping his hat that he's the mole. So after Data Twin says that, we actually see Battle Beast, who has an issue with Alan. He is upset. He's like, you promised me more. You said there would be more fighting. You said there would be more war. What is this shit? And I think that is fucking hilarious because like everybody needs a Battle Beast in their life. Like somebody who just TCG train ready to go, man. Thaddeus asks Alan where Nolan, Oliver, and Mark are, and Alan basically says he's like they're not here yet. He thought they were there, and Thaddeus is like, no, they're not here yet. So Telia brings up the map of where the Viltrumite territory is and where they're trying to liberate territories, and we actually find out that they have liberated some areas, but of course the Viltrumite hold is very strong. So they're kind of like showing what they have to do. With Nolan and Oliver, Oliver cooks over a fire while Nolan feeds Mark these eggs, which have more protein in them. And we see that there's a lot of them being fed to Mark because they're like, it's a pile of them laying in a corner. And then we see Mark with his beard. It's scraggly, but there's a beard there. And I think that's like, of course, to show the time passing, but also like, yeah, the boy's getting old. Nolan feeds Mark the eggs, and Oliver cuts up meat for them to eat, and they actually sit down. And like after kind of bonding and learning each other and spending time together, we see Oliver is actually ready to open up to his dad. So he does ask his father straight up, like, tell me more about Andressa and more about my people. And we actually get to see Oliver and Nolan bond, and I think we're like getting a softening for Nolan because of his relationship with Oliver, which is how it usually happens. Nolan tells Oliver that he was desperate and stupid for what he said about Andressa because Andressa, put him back together once everything with Earth happened. And so he says that what he said about her was a mistake and he shouldn't have said it. And I agree that it was a mistake, but at the same time, like, that's something that just kind of gets messy when you start cheating or you step out of your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have a kid outside of your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say that in this moment, this is probably one of the most heartfelt and genuine feeling apologies that Nolan gives. Like, he genuinely is apologetic, and I feel like that is a big deal because before I didn't believe any of his apologies. I just felt like he was trying to get back in good graces, but now it seems as though like he actually cares and he really truly wants to like amend, like he wants to mend his relationship with Oliver, and I truly can appreciate that. So we get another music montage, and the music is Oliver and Tree, Do You Feel Me? The coalition starts to come together with the elements that they do have. Oliver and Omni-Man train more, they build a better bond, and we actually see Oliver learn to fight better. The coalition forces and the Viltrumite forces are going head to head through armies, and Battle Beast is out here taking out the fucking Viltrumite army, slave army, or whatever you want to call them. Battle Beast is taking their ass the fuck down, okay? Oliver and Nolan are still working together to bring eggs to Mark and make sure that he gets the protein that he needs. We see Tech Jacket and Alan actually working together, where Tech Jacket takes out the army and Alan goes after the Viltrumite that's in charge of that section. And we see that they work very well together, which is nice. Oliver and Nolan eat more while Mark is in his deep Odin sleep. If you know what an Odin sleep is, you know what I'm saying. The coalition is slowly but surely liberating a lot more territory. So the coalition's areas are growing in numbers and in size. We see Oliver and Nolan actually sparring against each other, and Oliver actually draws blood from Nolan, which is, I won't say it's cool, but like it means he's getting better. Like he's becoming a better fighter and a better, fighting tactician, I guess. So Space Racer is out here blowing up full Viltrumite ships. He is taking them out from like one shot. So we love to see it. The coalition has freed a lot of the territories. They are actually winning this war on this side. So it looks really good for them. Mark Torso actually finally closes and is healing properly. So we know that the protein that Nolan said he needed was actually true. So with Oliver and Nolan, Oliver asks Nolan if he thinks the war, how he thinks the war is going. And Nolan basically says that if they are able to get the territories that the Viltrumites hold to change on the Viltrumites, then they should be doing very well, which is absolutely true because that's actually what is happening. With the Viltrumites, General Craig tells Thrad that a lot of the planets that they had once seized and once overhauled are basically turning and becoming part of the coalition. And if they lose any more, they're probably going to lose their empire altogether. So Craig tells Thrag that they have well placed weapons that they are using and they know how to use them. And Thrag asks Craig, why can't they attack Taliscaria? Craig says that they can't attack Taliscaria because the security is too strong. And Thrag goes, well, is it? He also likes to monologue to Argyle's skull, which I don't understand why he has this fucking skull. Like, why he just went and got it. Because, like, from my understanding, that's not even, like, his dad or no shit like that. Like, that's just his leader. So, him being obsessed with this skull and this man is weird. Thrag is weird. Okay, so with Oliver and Nolan are walking back home and they are having conversations, and it's so cute because they're bonding. But Oliver says he doesn't consider Earth home, and while he lives there and he's among the people, he does not feel like he belongs. And he had friends at one point, but of course he outgrew them, and he didn't, like, there was no way for him to kind of make friends as he got older, which I feel like when you're a kid, you're much more perceptible to other children, and then when you become an adult, you're like, okay, where my people at? You're not my people, I don't want to fuck with you. So I definitely kind of understand where Oliver's coming from as far as, like, not being able to relate to the people around him. Oliver does tell Nolan that Debbie and Paul took him to a lobster restaurant, one of those restaurants where you pick out your own lobster. And he said that he saw one of the most beautiful lobsters he had ever seen. He said she was gorgeous and that she made him feel fizzy inside. And I thought that was really funny because Nolan was like, fizzy. And then he realized what he was saying and he was like, oh, the lobster? The lobster made you? Okay, son. Well, I rock with that. The lobster made you feel kind of fizzy inside, so we cool. All right, you like lobsters. And then Oliver goes, I still ate it though. Like, it was just crazy. Like, bro was like, I still ate it though. Back on Taliscaria, Thaddeus tells the coalition that they are winning and that they are adding more numbers to their numbers, and not to be worried about anything. But the coalition does have worries. They're like, at what cost are we actually winning this war? Like, at what cost? How many bodies are we supposed to pile up in order to win this war? Which I think that's a very good point. Like, in war there are bodies, but how much is enough? How much is too much? And if you're giving so much, then how will you have something to sustain for? You know what I'm saying? So we actually see Data Twin 2 take down the security forces, and after they take down the security forces, the Viltrumites slide right in. And the Viltrumite destroyer starts to attack Taliscaria, and you can kind of tell this has never happened because everybody is in awe, everybody is confused, people are dying left and right. It's just truly like chaos. But then the Viltrumites come down and we see, like, General Craig get to work and he's like, where's the betrayer? And Thaddeus is like, right here, bitch. Thaddeus come in and knock his ass the fuck out. But they're going back and forth, and I really don't think that Threat knew that Thaddeus was gonna be as virile as he was. But yeah, so Krieg is flying through people. The Viltrumites are decimating areas. They're flying through buildings. They are fucking Taliscaria and its people the fuck up. You hear me? So we actually see General Telia actually trying to comprehend what's going on. Like, she is truly, like, if you pay attention to her, you can kind of understand the veracity of what's truly happening. Like, it's just like, oh my God, like, I've seen war. I've seen war in other places. I've never seen it at home. And so it was like truly crazy chaos The Viltrumites are also laying waste with lasers in the sky from the ships. And General Telia tells them, hey, I need air support. We need air support. We got to get those lasers out of the fucking sky, because if we don't, they're going to fuck us up. Because what the lasers are missing, the Viltrumites are flying through. So they're making sure nothing is standing. Do you hear me? Tech Jacket actually goes after the Viltrumite slave soldiers, and we see a Viltrumite attack her, and it distracts Alan. But of course, Alan makes sure to save Zoe, which he does. He makes sure Zoe's okay. Thaddeus and Craig are going at it. It is like blow for blow, rocking the world. It's a little bit less than Conquest and Mark, but it is these Viltrumites. When they fight, they fight. Anessa is ripping off Zoe's armor, and we see that Anessa is getting ready to Viltrumite knife fucking Zoe. Like, that is the reason why she's pulling off the Galdarian armor. And right before she actually can, Mark knocks her out. Now, the fucking Graysons are here. Not the flying Graysons, but the fucking Graysons. But the Graysons are here, and we find out that Mark, we actually see Mark get better on the planet that they were on. He finds Conquest, Mark finds Conquest tomb that Nolan built, and he actually thought it was for Nolan and Oliver. He thought Conquest had killed him, and Oliver's like, nah bro, you killed Conquest. And so, of course, they're really excited to have Mark back. But after they're excited to have Mark back, we see Mark show up to save Zoe. So Mark knocks Anessa the fuck out, and Nolan and Oliver and Mark have actually made it. Mark sees what's actually going on, and while everybody is just going blow for blow, this is what makes Mark a hero. Mark says, okay, everybody is fighting right now, but these fucking lasers in the sky, I looked up, I don't know why, but these lasers that are in the sky are basically mowing down these people, and even if we are able to subdue everybody that's on the ground, we can't do shit about these lasers. So Mark says, Oliver, hey yo, check up. He tells Oliver, hey yo, check up, we going up. And Oliver like, what? And he like, follow me. And so Mark and Oliver fly through the fucking Viltrumite ship. I mean, talk about some epic shit. They fly straight through the Viltrumite ship. It is so fucking crazy. They blow through the fucking ship, break it in half. Pieces are falling. Like, Thrag is running after Argyle's skull. It's just a lot going on. And so once they bust up the Viltrumite ship, the Viltrumites retreat. And like, all of them tuck they fucking tails between their legs, and they left. Now, I'm not saying they're not regrouping, but they definitely left. And so afterwards, Mark is like, oh shit, because the ship is actually falling, and it's going to destroy more shit, because Taliscaria is already fucked up all the way. So once Mark and Oliver grab one side, we see Thaddeus, we see Nolan, we see all of the Viltrumites who are good, Alan, Tech Jacket, they all push up the ship into the atmosphere and basically get it from falling on the people. And then we see that General Telia sees that one of the security decks went down with the Data twins. And so she goes to grab Data twin number 1, and she's like, why did you take down the security system? And he's like, take down the security system? I didn't take. And he pulls out a gun and he splattered Data Twin 2 head everywhere. I'm talking about, this a smoking hole through Data Twin 2 head. And he's like, why would you do this? And he's just like, you gave us up to the Viltrumites. You sold us out. And Data Twin 2 is like, they were going to win. They're still going to win. You've just only beat them for this battle, but they were going to win. And I want to, like, I've already been, my planet has already been decimated by the Viltrumites. If they're going to win, I want to be on their side. And that's basically what he says. Everybody's like, okay, so tell us what you know. And then General Telia is like, if you don't tell us what you know, I'm going to let him shoot you again, basically. And so he says that they're going home to regroup, and they're calling all of the Viltrumites home. And when all of the Viltrumites get home, they're going to attack again. And Thaddeus is like, what if they don't? And he's like, let's go ahead. Let's take their ass out right here and right now before any of the other Viltrumites get there. That way we, once we take out their leader, it's over with. They're done. Like, they'll scatter. It won't be an issue anymore. And that is where it ends. We also get like this, like, I don't know what to call it, but we get this situation where like we think that Conquest is gonna get up, but it's a pump fake. He does not actually get up, which thank goodness, because I cannot deal with another Conquest fight. Y'all almost killed my boy. All right, but that is the end of episode 6. That is the end of episode 6. I will be putting episode 7 out. I am catching up. I know I had a whole lot going on, but I am catching up for you guys. So be on the lookout for episode 7 because it is coming within the next few days. Yeah, so make sure you like, subscribe, share, and tell me what you think of this episode. Let me know how you feel on social media, on YouTube, wherever you watch me at. Let me know, and I will talk back. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm out.